Hi, my name is Pam Kahl, and this is actually my last quarter with the MCDM program. Alvin and I were in the same cohort. He finished before me because I purposely extended my student status so I could go to Ghana as an MCDM student this last fall. So I was in Ghana for 4 weeks. I was there for 2 reasons. Originally, the big plan was to go over and teach at Ashesi University, which I'll talk about during the presentation. But then I also, surprised, had an opportunity to join an exploration seminar that happened to be going on at the same time. So I was there with a group through the iSchool, and then I was also spun off periodically to go teach at Ashesi. So I have a very short deck of slides, but I have a quick video just to sort of help familiarize you with some scenes from Ghana. I was in Accra most of the time, but for about 4 days I was outside of Kumasi in a small village called Apinaman. And Kumasi is north of Accra, and it is one of the larger hubs other than Accra. Accra is the capital. So here we go. So those were scenes from a mix of Accra, Ashesi, and while I was there, Ashesi had their big inauguration ceremony, and I will talk a little bit more about them, but it was a big deal. They have built a new campus about an hour outside of Accra, and with a lot of donor money, helped fund those buildings that you saw that were modeled after some of the architecture at Haas, the Berkeley's business school, which is where Patrick, the founder, got his MBA. So I just have a few slides here. I want to talk about Ashesi. I want to talk a little bit about some observations around ICTs. And then I want to just talk a little bit about 2 case studies that sort of demonstrate how technology is being used and some of the impact technology has had on businesses and individuals. So Shezi University, it was founded in 2000. The founder and president is Patrick Awe. He used to work with Microsoft. And he had an aha moment and wanted to give back, and he went to Berkeley to get his MBA, and there he did a feasibility study on what it would look like to start a new university in Ghana. And all the stars seemed to align, and he with a number of early, sort of co-founders and donors, he was able to scrape together some early money, started Ashesi in Accra. And at the time, or at least up until August, it was cobbled, basically buildings cobbled together to create a university. And Patrick's vision is to focus on ethical leadership and entrepreneurship. He felt like those were the two missing links when it came to higher education and educating the next leaders of Africa. And so he felt that those were the key pillars for higher education. It's growing. Its reputation is growing globally. They have received money from the World Bank, from IFC, from private donors here in the States. Last time Patrick was here, he met with George Soros. He's met with Jimmy Carter in the past. And so he has a profile, and there is a foundation or a group of people that really believe in what he's doing, and they are helping, or they're basically his ambassadors in terms of getting the word out. It's a private university. They have about 600 students, and they give 3 degrees. One is business administration. The other 2 are computer science and MIS. So Ghana and ICT. So Ghana is considered to be one of the most stable or more stable countries in Africa. It has had a democratic government since its independence. They have had very little internal conflict. And they are ranked number 4 in terms of technology adoption across Africa. Their national agenda includes a focus on tech. They feel that it is critical to overall development in the country. And mobile penetration right now is somewhere between 75% and 80%.
How are you defining technology adoption?
Internet and mobile. Primarily. Interestingly enough, radio does not factor in, even though it is very much one of the more a popular quote ICT and a primary ICT in rural communities, but it is not considered technology in the way that we think of technology. So my top line observations, being there for 4 weeks, was that internet usage is primarily communication and about social connections. So the sort of search, wondering, I wonder about, what kind of monkeys live in Ghana. People don't go to Google and search for information. When I was at Busy Internet, which I'll talk about, which is one of the original internet cafes, in Accra, you look around and there's a few people using email, but everybody else is on Facebook or Twitter, frankly. So it doesn't have that same foundational knowledge base tool that we think of when we think of the internet. Computers are often not really used. Although they are used in schools, there is sort of this fear that they're valuable, they're expensive to replace, and so people shy away from active usage. Unless it's at an internet cafe, it's not their personal. Connectivity and web development are very expensive, and this has huge implications from a business perspective. The key thing is that the websites, there are not a lot of companies or organizations, even government organizations, that have websites. And if they do, because it's so expensive to maintain, oftentimes the information on those websites is not accurate because they just don't keep them up to date. That was one of working with the Exploration Seminar group, we had a terrible time getting information or contact information for government officials or other individuals because you'd go to like we would do here, you go to their website, and either the information wasn't there or it wasn't accurate. And on top of that, if you are lucky enough to find a phone number, nobody uses voicemail. So it's very hard to get a hold of people and even know if you have the right number. Credit cards are not used in Ghana, not in day-to-day business and not on the internet. In fact, I tried to buy a Google Voice subscription from Ghana, and I couldn't because Google will not let you use a credit card from Ghana. So the implications there are that there's no e-commerce, there's no business that helps build and foster an active internet-based community and business opportunity. And brandalism, I actually lifted this term from a blogger, but you're looking at it right now. In Accra and outside, especially in the rural areas and the main thoroughfares, buildings are painted primarily with with Glow, which is one of the mobile operators here. MTN is another, and Vodafone is the third. And so MTN is yellow, Glow is green, and Vodafone is red. And so you drive in these, down these thoroughfares, and all these buildings are painted and branded. And you'd think that the owners of the buildings or the houses would get some sort of benefit from it, some sort of monthly stipend or something like that. Actually, that's not the case. They just get a paint job, a free paint job. So it's interesting. But it's a little creepy at the same time. So so the two case studies I want to talk about, I mentioned Busy Internet. They were founded in 2001. There's huge demand originally, 1,500 visitors a day. They had multiple shops, cafes. They were open 24 hours a day. People were waiting in line or had to sign up for time. But mobile has reduced the demand. They are now closing some cafes. Their usage has dropped significantly, just on a daily basis. And the interesting thing is they claim, when asked, they claim that home internet connection is their main competition. But that's not, you look around and that just can't be the case because people are not getting internet connections at home. They're buying mobile phones. So I was interested when that was their answer. So as a result, they've had to shift their business model, and actually I think this is quite brilliant. Instead of the consumer-based internet cafe model, they're now turning to business productivity, acting as an ISP for both business and for those home users, although frankly, those that do have home service, it's the equivalent of our dial-up, really. I mean, it's not high-speed, fast internet connectivity that we're accustomed to. And they're also started sort of a Kinko's-like services, which they've always had, printing and production, but they've up-leveled those services because they see that as a need. The second company I met with is Soco, and interestingly enough, the same guy founded Busy Internet and Soco. Soco means market in Swahili. So eSoco means e-market. It was founded in 2005. And there, as many of you are familiar with the scenario of SMS-based information flow around market pricing, that type of thing. This is their business model. You type in a number, and you'll get the price of maize, depending on the number you type in, you get the price of maize, you get the price of cassava. So it's very, and it's based on that market price average over the course of 3 days. So it gives you a sense of what markets are charging, so people are more informed. And as a result, it's their estimate that farmers are seeing a 40% increase in income. The interesting part, though, is that their revenue does not come from the farmers. Their second business model is to basically serve as a market information service to governments and NGOs. And so The price point, they charge government entities and NGOs $2,600 a month for their service, compared to $18 a month to farmers. And in many cases, those farmers are not even paying that $18 a month. It's the NGOs that are working on development projects that are footing the bill. So, and that's it. Madasi means a thank you in Twi, which is the native language in Ghana. One of them.